Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good evening, and all that good stuff. Hopefully you guys are all doing well out there. I have this quick little thing I wanted to share with you guys. I was going to do it as a pop-up, but I was like, I don't have a whole lot of time. And so I wanted to do this as a live and just do this quick little live with you guys. Obviously, we have a lot of questions revolving around Gene Hackman and his wife's demise. There are a lot of people wanting to know what the hell happened here. And get more clarity because it's just such a suspicious situation. And now there's some new theories that are starting to kind of pop off that are kind of echoing what I thought to a certain extent. It's, there's variations to my theory, So we're going to be talking about that here. All right. So real quick, please do me a favor, hit that reaction button, hit that like button down below if you're watching on any of these other platforms and on YouTube, of course. If you are watching on those other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button, all that stuff. Make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, to this one, and then go over to my secondary channel because there's going to be some videos coming out later on this afternoon for sure. So make sure you're over there and checking those things out as well. There's some things with Blake Lively and then some, there's some things we got to talk about over there. So make sure you are subscribed to both. Make sure that notification bell is set to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. All right. Hit that join button down below, become a member, check out my Patreon, my locals, and of course, check out my store, PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, guys. Seriously, we really do have some really great stuff over there. So go check it out, okay? All right, guys. Like I said, this is gonna be a short video or short live. But like I said, due to time constraints and everything, I just figured it'd be a lot easier for me to do this live and discuss it with you guys as a family live than do this as a pre-recorded video. Today's a little crazy. The last few weeks, the last 2 months have just been insane in this neck of the woods. And it all makes sense soon enough. All right. And I'll explain in the future. All right. But here it is, guys. There's a new theory that's going on right now, and not everybody, but people are starting to talk about it. Okay. At least I am, right? Because it does spark my interest. And, like I said, we've heard of these stories, but a lot of times we see it in the movies. Okay. We see stories like this in the movies, like The Notebook or something like that. Right. You don't, I'm not sitting here saying that it's not possible for this kind of theory to be real. But at the same time, I think it's very interesting that this is a theory that people are starting to think about. Mine is a little bit more extreme. Welcome to the show, right? Joke's on me. But still, there's something interesting about this theory. So we're going to get straight into it, like I said, okay? So get on in here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to get into this pretty quickly, okay? But now they're wondering, this is a new theory that's coming out. They're wondering if Gene Hackman's wife, Betsy Arakawa, passed away from a broken heart. Due to a broken heart. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that it doesn't exist. But like I said, I've seen it in the movies, okay? I've definitely seen it in the movies. And, that scenario or that situation in the movies. Yeah, even Rachel's saying, yeah, broken heart syndrome is really real. And again, I've heard stories of, like let's just say a married couple, they've been together for so long, and then one of them passes away, and then a few short months later, the other one passes away as well. I've just never seen it actually, and that's what I'm talking about in real life. I've just never seen it happen the same day. That's what I'm trying to say. You see what I'm saying? I've seen it happen within months or even weeks of each other. But personally, I've never seen it actually happen the same doggone day. Now, broken heart, yeah, like the movie The Notebook. Like I said, it's like I've seen it in the movies and they romanticize it and they make it, like the Notebook, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, right? But when it comes to this, I'm just like, that's a new one for me, right? That's a new one. I've heard of it happening within weeks or months, but the same day, that's a new one for me. I've heard things about the shock of finding someone you love gone, and then you say you go into cardiac arrest. That's definitely real, and I've heard those stories before. But like I said, broken heart syndrome is something new to me. In fact, before we go into that, let me just get this. And of course, um, let's get that. I want to get the definition of it as well, so we can see that too. Okay. Before we go into this article, like I said, it's great when I get to speak to you guys live because we get to do this together, right? The pre-recorded stuff, you just don't get those liberties, right? When you do those pop-up videos, that you don't get to do all this stuff and look up the scenario. So they're saying broken heart syndrome, also known as t- Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, or stress cardiomyopathy, is a temporary condition in which the heart muscle weakens and cannot pump effectively. Broken heart syndrome is typically triggered by a severe emotional or physical stressor, such as loss of a loved one, divorce, accident, surgery, and infection. Symptoms of broken heart syndrome can resemble those of a heart attack, including chest pain, shortness of breath, nausea, dizziness, fatigue, and irregular heartbeat. Why does it sound like the small print of those pharmaceutical commercials that we see all the time? You know what I mean? Please don't take this if you suffer chest pain, shortness of breath, nausea, dizziness, fatigue, and irregular heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, moving on. Diagnosis. To diagnose broken heart syndrome, a doctor will perform a physical exam, take a medical history, and order tests such as, and then of course there's this bunch of other things. And I guess you can have a treatment. You can treat broken heart syndrome. I thought broken heart syndrome means you gone. Like you just have broken hearts, like, your heart stops working and therefore you are gone, right? So that's interesting that it is treatable. Okay. Additional information: broken heart syndrome is more common in women than in men. That's interesting. The exact mechanism underlying broken heart syndrome is not fully understood. It is important to seek medical attention immediately if you experience symptoms that may be consistent with broken heart syndrome. And again, what's interesting is when they say chest pain, shortness of breath, nausea, dizziness, fatigue, and irregular heartbeat. Doesn't that all kind of mean a heart attack? You know what I mean? Doesn't that mean a heart attack, though? Just a glorified heart attack? Okay. That's something that's interesting. Carol, thank you so much for watching from Trinidad. Appreciate it. Okay. Suspicious, to say at least. I don't know. Trinidadian. Thank you so much for watching from Trinidad. I appreciate it. But anyway, and then, yeah, not every day do we have somebody use this word that I love so much. Okay. So, Lisa, shout out to you. All right. It is rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Okay. But that's interesting. Broken heart syndrome is very much a real thing, but it kind of sounds like, to me, like someone having a heart attack. Okay. Just being real. All right. But this is a theory that people are talking about right now, given the fact that, this echoes my theory always. Okay. This is still echoing my theory, guys. And again, my theory could be absolutely wrong. But this is my theory nonetheless, until we have more information, right? It's just a theory. All right. My theory is he passed. She found him. She freaked out. Maybe she did go into cardiac arrest. Okay. Maybe she did. Or she didn't go into cardiac arrest. She goes into the bathroom. She's over whelmed by emotion and sadness, and realize in her mind thinks that she cannot go on without him, and then does the unthinkable. While Xena, the dog, is locked up in his kennel. And that dog passes away from starvation and dehydration, right? But the theory right now that's ruminating out here in these internet streets is the possibility of her actually having a broken heart, hence the reason why she passed. So let's take a look at this article. All right. So the mystery behind the twin demises of Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa has barely abated in recent days, while law enforcement waits for autopsy and toxicology report results. Obviously, we know that they were both found in their Santa Fe home, okay, by a neighborhood security officer after pest control workers reported not being able to get in touch with the residents. Authorities investigating the demise these two passings, okay, have already said that carbon monoxide poisoning is unlikely, okay? But now an expert who is involved in the investigation is weighing in on another theory that maybe Hackman's wife, Betsy, might have passed of a broken heart. So James Gill, this is the wildest title, okay? So the chief medical examiner for the Connecticut office of the chief medical examiner and try to say that in one breath, explain to people the possibility that Arakawa might have discovered her husband gone, okay, and suffered her own medical emergency as a result. She might have done that. And again, like I said, it could have been that. She could have seen him, went into shock and panic, and she could have gone into cardiac arrest. Do I call that broken heart syndrome? I just call that a heart attack, guys. With all due respect, that's what I just call it. But I don't know if she went into cardiac arrest. I still believe that there's a possibility that she thought she did this. It was a solo act, for lack of a better term. So James Gill previously considered another possibility for the publication, that Hackman and Arakawa may have done this as a pact. Like they decided to do this to themselves together, which he found to be unlikely. Like I said before, we talked about this too. They said it wouldn't make any sense if they were to pass together, right? If they were to do a joint pact to cross over together, both their souls leaving this planet, why would they be in separate rooms? That makes no sense. As you can see in the many photos of them together, they look like they are deeply, deeply in love. And for the fact that they've been together for decades also can confirm how much they actually do love each other, right? So if it was a joint effort, a pact, they'd be in the same room. In fact, they'd probably be holding each other. Found like that. Real talk. It just doesn't make any sense that they were found in separate rooms if this was a joint effort. Okay? So Gill previously, I already said that about the companion situation, the joint effort. Okay, the medical examiner said he believes, based on the available information, that the actor and his wife may have passed from natural causes, which would increase the likelihood of the broken heart theory. Now, the broken heart theory, sure, like I said. Okay, sure. It's not off the table. Again, and it could be the opposite way around. She could have suffered a heart attack, and then he found her, and then he reacted, and he's 95 years old with a pacemaker. I can see that type of trauma being so great that his body reacts. And of course, his heart shuts down. That's a possibility too. It could be the other way around too. And let's see. I saw something in here. Yeah, necropsy. Yeah, a necropsy was not ordered on the dog, just so you guys know. Okay. Yes, that so they did not perform anything on the dog as of yet, right? The dog Xena that passed, because if the dog, if it's true with what happened to the dog was locked up in the kennel. Like I said, there's so many different reports. Some reports are saying that the dog was locked up in the kennel, and then there's other places that say the dog was just in the closet of the bathroom, and that could mean that he was just laying in the corner with the door wide open and didn't know what to do with himself. That's possible too. It's still also possible that that maybe Betsy took something, those pills fell to the ground, and the dog ate some up, and then that dog passed too from eating some of the medication that he shouldn't have eaten. You see what I'm saying? So that's still a possibility too. So, see, this is such a strange. This is such a strange and odd situation, because, and it's unfortunate that there aren't any security cameras. There's no ring cam footage of any sort, nothing. The only thing they have right now that is digital, that is marking when they both may have passed away, is his pacemaker that was in his body. That's the only thing they got that had like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and all this crazy stuff. Shoot, I'm sure it can land planes and play iTunes at the same damn time at this point. But the last time it tried to react or shock the heart and give it a kickstart was 10 days before they were found. So again, no cameras, no security, no nothing. They're an older couple. He's 95 years old. In his mind, I'm sure he's not thinking about security cams. And herself too. They're living a simple, quiet life, just trying to live day to day, taking care of each other. So him being found, I can see, okay? And yes, the classic one, I'm going to pull that up here in your comment here in a second. But it's just so odd. And yes, this can allow a lot of people to just run crazy, let their minds run crazy with crazy theories and all that. And I understand that, because without any information, there's a lot of room for speculation. There's a lot of room for theories and all that. But it's very interesting what happened here. You have the other two dogs that were alive. You have one dog that was found gone in a kennel. And from what the reports are saying, okay, reports are saying dog was locked up in the kennel. And that's one thing I would love for police to confirm, because if the dog was out roaming around and then the dog passed, that could give us other possibilities. But if the dog was locked up in the kennel, that could also give us other possibilities. You see what I'm saying? And that part is very odd, but this could well have been a very simple open and shut case of somebody passing away, the other one getting sad, reacting, and passing away, either by their own hand or by cardiac arrest. Both things are possible here, right? And again, finding out exactly who passed first, because that could give us a different story as well. It's very frustrating, but let's move on here. Gil said that the description of how Hackman's body was found suggests that he may have collapsed. So he's got a history of heart disease. He's got a pacemaker. So that would not be unusual. But the unusual part is that why they did. Wait. The unusual part is that why then did she also collapse? Yes, I agree. That is 110% something that I feel is a little bit weird, right? Why would she collapse after he collapsed? And yes, people are automatically sitting there thinking, oh, it might be poisonous food. Well, if it was poisonous food, then somebody was out to get him. Something sinister's going on. You really think, like I've said to you guys last time we talked about this yesterday, you really think they're just gonna go eat bad food in the refrigerator? You know, 2-week-old sushi that's just sitting in the corner of the refrigerator. You open that up, you can smell it and go, no, we ain't eating that, baby. No. Well, let's throw that away. That's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? It's just dumb. No one would do that, right? So again, it just seems odd. Okay. And hold on. Let me get that comment real quick. There it is. The classic one. I told you I'd pull it up. I agree with this too. Yes, they do have their phones. So there'll be a lot of information in there too. There could be some serious, very revealing information there as well. And we'll see. We'll see what they uncover. But it might be a nothing burger on there too. Because if they're not as technically savvy, they might just use the phone to make phone calls and that's it. Right? You know how everybody else lives on their phones. They might not be that couple. They might just like to read a book and watch, old movies and stuff like that. You never know, guys, right? But we don't know. Soon we'll find out, right? But yes, he has a history of heart disease and all that, right? So he assumed, okay, this is what he assumed that she was found or that she found her husband on the ground. Continuing, then you start wondering about there's this thing where the stress of seeing someone pass that could have triggered a natural demise in her. So yeah, you see it, you're thrown off, you're hit with grief, you go, oh my gosh, what am I going to do without him? But again, same scenario could be flipped around for Gene. It could very well have been. It could have been. I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying that we're exercising the possibilities here. There is a possibility that he found her, and he was like, "Oh my God!" And you got to remember, he has a history of heart disease. He has a pacemaker. Some sort of grief like that could really mess somebody up who has a pre-existing heart condition, right? But that's just the theory, right? Police have said that Hackman was found, which we already know, he was found in the mudroom, okay, with his cane and sunglasses near him on the ground, while Arakawa was discovered laying in the bathroom floor, prescription pills strewn across the nearby countertop. The two are believed to have been gone for several days before they were found, and both bodies had signs, of decomposition and were partially mummified. Both were like that, which is insane. Okay. So again, like I told you guys, his pacemaker was last registered as working on February 17th, 9 days before their bodies were discovered, which could possibly indicate the day that he actually passed away. But again, when they do the autopsy and everything, I'm sure they're going to be like, okay, yes, he was the first one to pass. She was the last one to pass, all that stuff, right? Or it might be flipped. You never know. Okay. Rather than Hackman dying or suffering a medical emergency first, Arakawa could have collapsed before Hackman found her and was going out to get help and get his phone. And then he collapsed from the stress of that too. Just as likely. Like I was just saying, Exactly what I just said. Maybe he found her and then in a panic, his heart gives out. That's possible too. Jill added that Hackman was 3 decades her senior, Betsy's senior, and had known heart disease, which added the feasibility of that theory. But the autopsy would certainly show if she had heart disease or cancer or what have you. According to the medical examiner, either arrangement has been known to happen, kind of a broken heart style or a broken heart type thing almost. Okay. Suddenly finding your loved one unalive on the floor, that can increase your adrenaline and stimulate your heart to beat faster. And that can put your heart into an irregular rhythm. Although he was previously, although he previously indicated that a companion or a pact, okay, was unlikely, Jill wouldn't rule out the possibility that Arakawa could have found her husband gone and in an anguished state could have passed away by her own hand, which might explain the unnamed pills that were spread across the bathroom counter near where her body was found. However, that possibility can't be settled on or ruled out until the results of the toxicology report comes in, which could take weeks. All right. But again, like I said, this is such a heartbreaking situation. Um, and for me, passing of a broken heart, sure, you can say it like that if you want to romanticize it, right? If you really want to romanticize it, I can see that. But at the same time, it is very, very heartbreaking to see the results of this, right? Or to see what people are thinking of, right? Yeah, I said the taco subo cardiomyopathy in the beginning, what the whole heart broken heart syndrome was. So for those of y'all who are late to the party, I already read that in the beginning. Okay. But still, sure, it exists, but to me, I call it a heart attack. Sure, that's the romanticized version of it, sure, but I call that a heart attack. Um, with all due respect, I'm not trying to be a savage or anything. I'm just saying the symptoms sound a lot like a heart attack. Okay, chest pain, shortness of breath, all that stuff. Heart attack. You know what I mean? But like I said, it is very interesting. And again, what say you guys? What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that it's on point, or do you think it's off? Like I said, usually when I hear about a broken heart situation, broken heart syndrome situation, or a Takotsubo cardiomyopathy type of situation, I hear that happening sometimes days, weeks, even months later, right? I've never heard of it being the same day. I've just seen those kind of scenarios in the movies. With all due respect, not sitting here saying that it doesn't exist, but the way I see it is someone is hit with something traumatic, anxiety hits, and that can cause a heart attack. But that's what I say, right? Um, I still am leaning on the pills were everywhere, unless those pills were for her, unless she had some heart issue as well. And those pills were she went into the bathroom because she was having some sort of cardiac arrest, some chest pains or whatever. She went to go get the medication, and maybe it was too little too late. Maybe that's it, right? That's possible too. And then she passed. The dog was still in the kennel. So I'm still wondering how the dog got into the kennel and locked up in the kennel. That's one thing I'm still kind of curious about. But like I said yesterday, they mixed up the name of the dog, the breed of the dog, all that stuff. Those are big mistakes. Okay, I know that the minor's like, "Are you talking about a dog, man? It's a dog," but it's a big deal. It's a big deal. They got to be surgeons with this stuff, right? They got to be very precise about everything, especially when they're doing an investigation into something so suspicious like this, right? So the fact that they got that information wrong it's kind of like, well, did they really find the dog locked up in a cage, or was the dog not locked up in a cage? If you got the name wrong, the breed of the dog wrong, all those things wrong, what else could they have gotten wrong? Real talk. Now, they have ruled out the carbon monoxide. They said that there was a very, very, very tiny leak on the stove and one of the stove burners, but it was minuscule. It was minimal, not something that would be lethal, right? So again, if that's gone, what else is going on here then? What could have possibly happened? Is it a broken heart? Did she pass of a broken heart? Or something else? Or vice versa. Did he pass of a broken heart after finding her? The scenario can still play out on both sides. Remember, he already has a pre-existing heart issue. Let's not forget that too. So you already know he's already frail and 95. 95, frail, heart disease. Put all those things together, it's very possible. But like I said, anything's possible in this situation. But that is the show, guys. Just wanted to give you guys that information. I'm quite curious about it. All right. But there's a lot coming in. Okay. We'll be talking here very, very soon. We got a lot going on. So make sure you are fully subscribed and that notification bell is set to all. So hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to hit that follow button on all my other platforms that I'm on. Don't forget to subscribe here on my main channel. Go to my secondary channel, please and thank you. Subscribe over there. All right. Hit that join button down below. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And of course, don't forget, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, guys. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. And we'll keep an eye on this. It's very interesting. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.